And welcome back, everyone, to start a brand new My Hero What If. Someone asked asked in the comments, weren't we getting this too quick? And I'm like, no, we weren't. I explained the schedule again, and you're only getting the Zanpakuto, and you're getting the Delver. Then we're gonna go back to some Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball What Ifs, and then we'll do the 3 My Hero, and then back on. And Kyoka Suigetsu won the Zanpakuto poll. Now, I did ask one other question of you. How should I approach the Bankai of the Zanpakuto? Because Kyoka Suigetsu does have a Bankai. We know that for a fact. But we have never seen it. Aizen has never used it. So my guess, if we see it, they are saving it for maybe an extended battle between him and Yuaba in Core 4. But the question is, how do you want me to approach that? Most of you guys said you wanted me to make something up. So that is what I'll do when the time comes. But for right now, we start the what if. Now, as always, right now, I have to determine whether or not the Zanpakuto itself is something that manifests as Izuku's quirk with the ability of the Zanpakuto, or it's something that he gains as like an artifact that held the quirk in there. And I think that really all comes down, as I said, to the type of Zanpakuto it is. Like Shuhei's Katen Kyokatsui. That one I actually think he has to manifest the swords for. I think because the swords are kind of integral in the usage of that Zanpakuto. Kenpachi's Nozarashi, obviously. Anything that's a melee type is pretty much, a guarantee. But others like elementals, or in this case, a illusionary type Zanpakuto, I do think can work as a quirk that was passed down, like genetically locked into the sword, and then passed down to the next user. So with that being said, when Midoriya finds the sword, would be not shortly after. It'd be in between him graduating from high school, going into UA, and him being told he has no quirk. It has to be in between there, because Midoriya is getting picked on by Bakugo. It sucks, but he's still trying to be a good guy overall. But he says, I'm going to be a hero regardless, but it all sucks. So one day he goes down to his basement, and he finds something, wrapped up in a sheet and cloth, and he looks at it, and it's a sword. It's like, hey, Mom, what's with this? Like, what's with what? This sword, what's this about? What's with this thing? And it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that was still here. That's a family heirloom, Midoriya. And she looks at it, and allegedly your great grandfather was a hero. Was a hero who used this to use this in conjunction with his quirk to defend people. Though, I'll be honest, there are some rumors that he may have actually gone to the villainous side of things. It's like, well, really? It's like, well, but I wouldn't worry. By the way, how long have quirks been around in the My Hero world? That is a very good question, because this helps with the idea of how far back we can go here. How long have quirks been around in My Hero? Okay, that sounds about right. They've been around for roughly 150 to 200 years, ever since the glowing baby came around. So that tracks, because My Hero takes place, roughly speaking, in modern day. So they've been around since basically the early 1800s, which is interesting to say the least. Again, different timeline though, so where things lie timeline-wise is debatable, but still. So it would make sense, like maybe 100 years ago, like even well before All Might or something like that. And he's like, whoa. Why did he need a sword? I don't really know. All I know is the little I know about him is that he was a very intelligent and capable man. And so maybe I could learn to use it and be a hero. Oh, I mean, I suppose you could, but I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Oh, come on, man. I could practice on my own. It's not that big. It's not that bad. And it's like, I suppose. And, he grabs it, and all of a sudden he feels the rush. Like, wait, what? As the sword kind of glows just a little bit. Now, with Hitsugaya's Hyorimaru, it was more like ice came out, like a wave of cold came about. And said, Midoriya, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine, Ma. Just, this feels weird. Feels weird, huh? That's, I guess that is a normal response. It's like, what? You say something? It's like, no, honey. Yeah, I'm just gonna stay down here for a little bit and kind of, get used to it. It's like, oh, okay, I'll go make some lunch. It's like, well, who said that? It's like, I did. Now, should know. We know what, because we know Kubo designed the spirits in the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc. So those are, in general, what those spirits should look like, minus a few of them. Like Zabimaru does not look like what Zabimaru looked like in that one. It was what it was if the spirits were all humanized. And even then, Zabimaru is not a female Zanpakuto. There's no reason for it to be a female Zanpakuto. We know that for a fact. But I say that because Kyoka Suigetsu, so same with also Shinso and Suzumiushi. We don't know what those look like. Kyoka Suigetsu, I'll be honest though, that does strike me, at least from a name perspective, as a female Zanpakuto. Now, I don't know who in Aizen's life would have influenced them enough to have a female Zanpakuto, which, by the way, is generally how that works. If you look at the four main male characters who have female-based Zanpakuto, Shunsui, Urahara, Zaraki, and the 8th Kenpachi, Ajashiro, all four of them do have a female Zanpakuto, but it's because they had an influential woman in their lives. We don't know yet what or who Urahara's was, but it is implied, based on the design of Benihime, it might have actually been Shutaro. But regardless, weirdly enough, Kyoka Suigetsu has always struck me as a female Zanpakuto. At least, if nothing else, the name sounds more feminine. But to be fair, Suigetsu from Naruto, his name is Suigetsu for a reason. He's a guy. So it could be a male. But for what it's worth, I think I am going to go with a female Zanpakuto here. Not that there's anything wrong with it also being a guy. It's just, for some reason, I like that idea. And let's just say it looks more like a female version of Aizen. Where I say, hello, Izuku Midoriya. I say, what? Who are you? Oh, yes, come, you don't know me. You should, you're an intelligent kid. You take a guess. You're, okay, think. I didn't hear a voice till I grabbed the sword. Are you my ancestor? Well, close. I am the power your ancestor unlocked many years ago. I am Kyoka Suigetsu. Kyoka Suigetsu? What is it? What does this mean? What's going on? Yeah, you see, there's a reason this sword's been locked away for so long, Midoriya. I've been waiting for a descendant to be able to use me again. And the sword is very special. It had a genetic seal on it, where he stored his quirk before his passing. Anyone with the right biological makeup could unlock the blade. I was like, well, wait, really? But how? So I touched the sword and I now have your quirk? Indeed. You can even use the quirk without my blade, though with my blade is what will make it strongest, much stronger than anything. So I was like, but why? And like Midoriya's, I guess this is all just really overwhelming. I can understand that. So that's why I'll be here to help you. Wait, so what is your power? I'm glad you asked. My power is one that any would crave for. It is the power of absolute hypnosis. I can control all 5 senses with ease. All one has to do is look at see the release of my blade. And so Midoriya's like, whoa, this is a lot. Don't worry, I'll help you. Now, I'm sure some people would say, well, he's going to be more like Aizen, right? No, he's probably going to become a little bit sharper, a little bit more analytical, and that's saying something for Midoriya, and maybe a little bit more colder about things. But you're never going to completely turn someone into the previous owner of the Zanpakuto. That's not how this works. Same with Devil Fruit, too. Someone brought up with Devil Fruit. No, the Devil Fruit's not going to convert them into someone. The Devil Fruit has very little influence on their personality unless it's something designed that way. So, unfortunately, for those of you who think he's going to be a straight Aizen ripoff, no, he's not going to be a straight Aizen ripoff. Sorry about that if you're disappointed. But that being said, he explains to his mom what his sword does. Like, really? Oh, really? Oh, that's complete hypnosis. Oh, you gonna hypnotize me? I mean, I could, at least just to show you. And Kyoka basically just says, "I'll be warned though. Once someone has seen my ability, they'll always be affected by the hypnosis. They'll always be under the hypnosis." Wait, what? Is that your hypnosis is that powerful? Yeah, indeed, it is. And so Midoriya is like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Just because I don't want you to be overly affected by it. It's like okay, just so you know, I'm very proud of you. Just be careful. That's all I ask. And so Midoriya practices with Kyoka Suigetsu. He does it really on. But the problem is to be able to practice with it, he'd actually have to practice on people to some degree. And that's something Midoriya isn't really trying to do, obviously, use it because he can't necessarily use his quirk on the public. But what he is doing is using it on like things like squirrels and stuff like that, and then basically just releases them from the hypnosis. That's the thing. Aizen could release people from his hypnosis if he wanted to, but he just doesn't because he's Aizen. And so Midoriya is practicing. Granted, again, he only gets a chance to practice on like wildlife or whatever, but he's still able to practice. But one thing he does work on more and more is his sword skills, and he becomes a pretty decent swordsman, all things considered. Unfortunately, this does still lead to Bakugo being jealous of Midoriya, who's still excelling in class. He's also gained a little bit more of a backbone with the voice of Kyoka Suigetsu with him. Now, he doesn't bring his sword to school, which does mean in this scenario, his powers are weakened. I would say, like something with like involving absolute hypnosis of all things, his powers are maybe half as strong than without the sword. Without the sword, it's the complete absolute hypnosis, but with the sword, with the sword, it's complete absolute hypnosis. Without the sword, it's not quite. It's about half as strong. But that being said, Midoriya probably does at one point put Bakugo under hypnosis just to screw with him at one point, just to kind of show I'm not going to be bullied around as easily anymore. So he ultimately, I'm getting sidetracked because I'm getting distracted by something here. Okay, so Bakugo still picks him. Midoriya starts to kind of ignore him more than anything else, which pisses him off even more. So, Deku, what are you doing? Just ignore. What are you doing? You think you're acting going to be so cool now, huh? Yeah, you're always going to be that stupid little useless kid, Deku. And to which Deku's like, no, I'm not. I will be your hero no matter what. And it's like, really? Really? And you think you can just talk to me that way? You only have a quirk, and you're just a loser. And so when that whole, it's like, who wants to be a hero? Oh, Midoriya, I've seen you've also signed up. Yeah, that's right, I signed up. Well, good luck to you. And so, and obviously Bakugo gets in his face, and he takes Midoriya's notebook. Say, you're not gonna need this. Hey, it's like, what? You gonna say something? But Midoriya actually, again, goes a little cold and like almost cautious. No, fine, you just go right ahead. We can go right ahead and do whatever you want, Bakugo. That's right. And he walks off. Now, Midoriya, though, just kind of just goes, huh. He's becoming so predictable, and just takes out his notebook. And he looks down and says, it's a shame that he had to get one of my, it's a shame. I did like that, the pattern on that spare notebook. He put an illusion on him and just made him think he destroyed the notebook when he didn't. And so he goes and just goes about his day. And obviously, All Might, his his meeting with All Might happens. And mind you, he's not sulking. In fact, if anything, he's actually pretty just in a decent mood, all that. And then this sludge monster comes out and grabs him. Unfortunately, here, his illusionary capabilities aren't going to matter because the sludge monster can. And if he had a sword, it might be different. He could trick the sludge monster into thinking he didn't have him. But the problem is, he basically just convinced him he had someone else. And the sludge monster did not care at that point who he had, so long as he had a body. So Midoriya was in a bad way regardless. So no matter what, using his quirk isn't going to help. And this leads to All Might saving his ass. Oh my god, you're All Might. It's like, oh, he gave me his autograph. And say, all right, now take care. And here's the thing. The question about whether or not he grabs onto All Might's leg, and holds on, it's like, please, I got so many questions to ask you. I don't think that's a likely scenario when he let's see, let me rephrase that. It's much less likely when he has a quirk than when he doesn't have a quirk. And honestly, yeah, I don't see him doing it here. It's because he still has a very powerful quirk. So I don't see him, bothering All Might with something like this. And so All Might does get the sludge monster to prison in time. Like, gets into jail, all the authorities, all that. So, yeah, there's actually no real reason to think that would happen, that he'd get All for One here. That he would meet All Might, and that All Might would say, you too can become a hero. That wouldn't happen here. So that leads us now into UA, or UA exams. And there is a problem here. There is actually a big problem here. So Midoriya, he passes. We know he passed the written exam. We know that. Bakugo is then getting his face. We know, Ida all kind of gets on his case as well. But that being said, Midoriya only has the sword and illusionary powers, which wouldn't, as far as we know, work on something that doesn't actually have senses. Now, granted, we know that it shouldn't work on artificial beings, like robots that they're fighting in the UA graduation exam. So Midoriya goes, but they do have senses. They have sensory capabilities. So the question is, do you think that Kyoka Suigetsu should work on inanimate objects? That like robots? Because I'll tell you right now, there are two avenues this thing is going to go down. There are two avenues this story can go down based on that answer. And because I'm short on time, we're going to leave part 1 on that question. So, do you think Kyoka Suigetsu should be allowed to work on robots? Because they do have senses. They can hear, they have auditory, they have visual. They can probably detect, they may not be able to smell, per se. They can't taste, but they have sensors for feeling things. They can detect things. So, do you think Kyoka Suigetsu should be able to work on AI type of characters, like robots in this exam? And based on the answer, that's going to determine where this story goes further. So, that's my thoughts for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Later.